Greetings and salutations, one and all. Welcome to the night shift to DJ Kevin Steele. It's community and finance night. And what a night we have in store. I want to say big ups to each and everyone locked in right now. Those on TuneIn Radio. Locked in on the night shift to DJ Kevin Steele. Those hailing from across the pond, One Harmony Radio. Top of the morning to you guys over in the UK. Much love to those who are locked in out of New Jersey on NIE Radio. Hanging with New Jersey's finest, the motivator. Blessings, bro. I want to say much love to those who are locked in out of New York. Blessings to those on Island Worldwide, exhibiting the power of music. Those out of Long Island, New York, hanging out on Reggae Pulse Radio. Much love to you. I want to say big ups to those who are locked in on the Foundation Radio Network. ClintonLindsay.com, representing South Florida. Those hailing out Texas, locked in on Aliwap Radio. Those on Dusic Media Group. And those on WGLRO, the People Station. Home of the Donny Walker Morning Show. Taking you from the sheets to the streets, touching from Detroit to Denmark and all points in between. Much love to you. Those on PEMGTV.com. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Big ups to those on Facebook Live, those on Zeno FM, those hanging out on Clubhouse, those on YouTube Live. Welcome. So glad to have you. Couldn't do it without you. And you have my word, I wouldn't even try. Especially to those who are locked in right here at the home of the night shift to DJ Kevin Stew, where you're encouraged to have acceptance through enlightenment. Those on kevinstew.com. Inviting you to call a friend, tell a friend. Friends of your friends, friends of your enemies, enemies of your friends, and your enemies too. Because the information is good for everyone. I want to say thank you to my segment sponsors, Pulse Media Group, and Being in the Moment is priceless. Go ahead and give them a call. They'll take care of your videos, your photos, your streaming, your ads, everything you see here on kevinstew.com and more. So you have a wedding, a church service, a funeral, a party, a graduation, a seminar, you name it. You want to stream it live on a secure platform, whether yours or theirs. They got the hookup for you. Give them a call, 754-999-1140. That's 754-999-1140. Tell them Kevin Stew sent you. I want to say thank you to Althea and her Healing Heavenly Hands. Althea is a licensed massage therapist operating out of Broad County, North Miami-Dade and South Palm Beach counties. She comes to you, bringing her table, her oils, and over 20 years massage therapy experience. Schedule your appointment today. Give her a call, 954-655-9000. That's 954-655-9000. She only has one request outside of paying her. That is to get off her table and go sleep somewhere else when she's done. It is known as the Kevin Stew clause, because I'm always falling asleep on her table. I want to say thank you to Reggae Global Entertainment. Reggae Global act as your booking agents, handle your tour management, take care of your business registration, legal service referrals, music production, marketing and promotion, and much, much more. Go ahead and give them a call, 954-804-8199. That's it, 954-804-8199. Or check them out online, reggaeglobal.com. Thank you, Reggae Global. I want to say thanks to McNeil Trucking. McNeil Trucking is a veteran-owned, licensed and insured mover in the state of Florida. So you want to move from the Keys up to Jacksonville and any point in between? Want to put some things in storage? Don't have the manpower, don't have the transportation? Don't worry. You have the name, you have the number. McNeil Trucking. 954-406-9740. With McNeil Trucking, your goods are in good hands. Tell them you heard about them on the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew, yeah? It's Community and Finance Night. For those of you just joining in, welcome. The zone of Orlando Octave kicking us off. A track called A Good Woman. And tonight we're connecting with our neighbors to the north. It really doesn't matter where you hail from, you know. We're one big family. And so, without further ado, oh, by the way, those who are locked in, you want to participate, don't worry, you have multiple ways to do it. You can call, you can text, you can WhatsApp, you can Telegram. The phone number, the line is always open, 773-789-STEW. That's 773-789-7839. You'll see it scrolling across the bottom of your screen right there, those of you that are watching. Those on Clubhouse and on Facebook. Remember, it's only a segment broadcast, so come on over. Use the link in the description. It's pinned in the comment section. And jump into the stew pot. For those of you wondering what the stew pot is, it's what others call a chat room. But because we're fancy on kevinstew.com, we call it the stew pot. It's where we keep things interactive and bubbling. Come on in. Water is always fine. We only ask that you remain respectful. When good woman leave you, you feel shame. Took half for granted, she turned her back. Now you feel like. Now I have a guest with me tonight. And those of you that saw the post, you would have seen that we're empowered tonight. And so, just to check to see if my secret ingredient, my guest for the night is hearing me just fine. Jonathan, you hearing me just fine? Okay, I just talk for me so that I can hear you.
Yes, sir.
Loud and clear. I got you. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I present to you the man of the moment, Master. Yeah, I get to use that title tonight, Master Jonathan Field.
Hi guys. Thanks for having me on tonight.
Hey Jonathan, how are you, sir?
I am doing fantastic. I just got done teaching 7 classes today, so I'm ready to do this.
Okay, cool. All right, so let's take a walk through and get to understand who Jonathan Field is before we even get to Master Jonathan Field. Because if anybody goes looking and Googling you, checking you out, searching for your credentials, then they need to have a little bit of time on their hands. Because I've seen your credentials, and that's a long list. So,
yes, sir.
Talk to me. Who is Jonathan Field?
Oh, I see. From an early age, it would be a kid that grew up watching like the Ninja Turtles, the Three Ninjas, Chuck Norris, those type of things, and I've always had a passion for the martial arts.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly probably coming from early TV shows, but more of a calling, I think, more than anything.
Yes.
And I also grew up doing a lot of bowling as well here in our local town. Had lots of friends growing up. I grew up in a small town. My town of Coburn is like 17,000 people. All have race, like everybody kind of knows everybody, and great little community. It's a great sports community that we have. Actually, we have awesome sports here. And
oh yeah.
But no, I started martial arts just after my 15th birthday. So I've been doing martial arts around 25 years now, and even from an early starting point in the martial arts, I actually started teaching early on. So I always had this knack for wanting to teach or to empower people.
Nice. 45 years of the martial arts, that's a long time. That's a very long time. If you could just adjust your camera just a little bit for me, please. Just pan it up a little bit. There we go.
There we go.
Perfect. Yeah. So that's a long time. Did anybody tell you that you kind of look like Chuck Norris?
Yeah, you know what? Actually, it's funny to my YouTube channel, especially lately, I'm getting a lot of people like, "Oh, Chuck Norris lookalike," or the next Chuck Norris, or actually, this is funny. Somebody, I've done a lot of world records as well in martial arts, and but I especially like martial arts in Taekwondo. Truth there, I'm more of a traditionalist, so I teach more old school self-defense versus what a lot of people see Taekwondo as like the Olympic sport.
Yeah.
Where it doesn't look practical, even though it's very athletic, but I teach the more self-defense piece. Within that, um, early on in my martial arts career, I start specializing in competitive breaking, so breaking baseball bat, wood, concrete, marble, and whatnot. And it
Yep.
was funny, the one video that I have on there is a world record where I broke 30 boards tip of my fingers. I did 30 boards in 19.1 seconds at one tournament. And
Wow.
somebody commented the other day saying that, oh my god, the man went God mode. I thought that was just funny. Like, really? Like, that's just a funny comment, right? Like, not really.
But you know, that's quite a feat, though. You know, 30 boards.
30 boards in 19.1 seconds. Yep. Just
Wow.
the, that's
Going,
what the two fingers right here.
and that's just from striking the boards with your fingertips.
Yeah. Yeah, what we did was we put the board on cinder block,
Yes.
and I would had help with the board on as I was striking down.
Right.
Yeah, but it actually what I love about martial art competition, especially like competitive breaking, is like a lot of other sports, you're competing against somebody else,
Yes.
and you're not going to help each other. But in like what we do, we will help each other because we want the best person to win.
Right.
So we always make sure if we're holding board for somebody or if we're gonna set up for somebody, we do it to the best of our ability to make sure that the best person wins.
Right. 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 I got you. That's awesome. Um, Having a little bit of history in martial arts myself, dibbled and dabbled a little bit back in the day. You know, I recognize the art in martial arts. So, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah, martial art, that's exactly like well, the whole part art, right? Martial means combat or fighting, and then art means art. But in society, we don't have to use it as much as 300 or 400 years ago, whether it be like Japan, China, Korea, the
hmm,
Philippines, and so forth. So, in the beauty of martial art today, there's so many different aspects to it. So, if I mean, I recommend everybody join martial art because you're gonna find something that speaks to you, whether
right.
you're a pattern, like a form, or a kind of person, whether you're a person that likes to spar or fight, uh, myself, competitive ranking, whether it be the self-defense, whether it just be the physical fitness aspect of it,
Hmm.
weapons, grappling. There's just so many different things to the martial arts, and again, it's such a each part of it has its own unique art to it.
I can tell you, when I did kung fu, and
Okay, cool.
when I did it, it was the fittest I had ever been in my life. I've never been as fit since. I can tell you that. I was so fit, and then I stopped. I never got back into it, and I've been trying to get fit again ever since.
Yeah, I can come to um, I'm going to my seventh degree black belt in Taekwondo next year, and part of what I'm doing as a personal challenge, I'm studying 7 different martial arts, and I'm going to be
Yes.
demonstrating them. And one of the styles is Kung Fu.
Yes.
So one of my buddies in Ireland, Sifu Keith Fanning, who's like ninth or 10th degree black belt in Kung Fu, and
Hmm.
we've been training together. Well, we met each other years ago down in Florida in Orlando at the
Right.
U.S. Open, and especially over the pandemic, him and I have been doing a lot of Facebook
Hmm.
chat, emailing back and forth, sending videos and stuff like that,
Yes.
and we're actually currently working on another world record for myself. And so I'm training a lot of the iron body and iron palm techniques that Kung Fu
Yes. Yes.
has. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. That's my Sifu was this skinny guy. I've and outside of seeing Bruce Lee on TV, I have never come across this kind of strength in real life. Skinny guy, so strong. It was
Yeah,
amazing.
it's amazing. how like I call them like the old school masters that they really understand martial art
Yes.
beyond what their students are willing. It's one of those things where it takes that 30, 40, 50 years, but again, just working with my buddy
Oh yes.
just online, the Kung Fu master, Sifu, like just the strength in his hand and the strength in his fingers, because we were over in London, England back in 2017, I think it was, and he
Yes.
broke a 3-inch concrete slab with one finger. Like legit, people think it's fake, but legitimate, a 3-inch slab with one finger.
Yeah. That's that's channeling the chi to
Yes.
a point, you know. And I would come across these things in martial arts movies because, like you, as a child, I was into the kung fu. It was you watch. Well, in Jamaica, where I grew up, we used to call them kickers. So we'd watch
Mm-hmm.
some kickers, and then we would think we could do what they did. Flying through the
Mm-hmm.
air and some of these kung fu moves, and we'd make the noises with our mouths. And as children, that's what we do
Yep.
until I got into it for real and realized a whole bunch of this is the training. Yeah, you learn the forms, you learn the techniques, but a whole bunch of it is actually the conditioning of the body.
And you know what? Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it takes the discipline for to do that. A lot of people they want to learn the technique, they want to be able to do this, they want to be able to do that, but
Yeah,
they don't have that personal self discipline. And it takes a
correct.
lot of discipline to put yourself through that kind of pain to develop that type of skill.
Yes, yes. My Sifu is the grandson of a Wing Lung Grandmaster. So
Well,
his name is
I've
Troy.
heard that. Is he a Shaolin disciple? Was he from the Shaolin?
He is a disciple. Yes.
Okay,
He's in Georgia now. His name is Troy Gonzalez,
okay,
and he was just amazing. His nephew, at the time, his nephew was probably turning 12, and this kid doing monkey style was amazing at that time. This had to have been, I would say, almost 20 years ago,
okay.
and this kid was amazing back then. So I
Monkey style is a very difficult style of martial art.
yes,
Like really, really difficult compared to like I prefer the Tiger style kung fu because it relates a little bit more to the Korean Taekwondo. But
yes,
monkey, if you get good at monkey style, like you're good.
yeah, he was amazing. This kid was amazing, and he taught by his uncle. And wow, but to know that you're doing 7 different styles of martial arts, with going for your 7th degree in Taekwondo, that's quite a task. That's quite a feat. And I'm rooting you on. You said something about Orlando.
Yeah. So right. So what kind of made my name over the years was actually, I'm gonna take you back to when I was in high school. So when I was in high school, remember the old like black belt magazines,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Like there was an ad on the back of the black belt magazine that it was for the U.S. Opens and the ISK World Championships.
Okay.
Very colorful ad, and I remember seeing it. I sent to my buddy in high school. I said, "I could do that stuff," and he's like, "Oh, why don't you?" So that was back in like 2002 ish. And then in 2007, I competed at my first U.S. Opens and ISK World Championships down in Orlando, Florida. It's always held at Coronado Springs Resort in Disney.
Yes.
And I competed down there in my first international breaking competition and met some of these like big names like Larry Field, Chip Townsend, Nick Sambry, some of these Drew Serrano, some of these like world famous breakers, right?
Right.
And got to hang out, start talking to them, and some of them kind of put tuck me under your wing a little bit. I got to learn that the art of breaking with some phenomenal breakers, and I got lucky enough in 2011 I won the IFKA World Championships among some of the other WBA World Championships. But I've been going from the to the U.S. Open slash IFKA World from 2007 until 2019, and then COVID hit in
Right.
2020, so I haven't been able to go the last couple of years with all the restrictions up here in Canada have been ridiculous.
Right.
But I'm actually coming down in Orlando on. I'm actually flying down October 26th, and I'll be competing at the IMAF, so it's the International Martial Arts Festival
Yes.
World Championship on October 29th in Orlando. So this will actually be my third ranking organization that I'm gunning to hopefully win a world championship in.
Oh, I need to see if I can work my schedule to see if I can be there. That would be awesome.
Yeah, it's brand new to me. Yeah, it's like been really exciting. I have not personally been to that
Hmm.
competition yet. I was invited a couple years ago
Yes.
by like one of the original ISKA breakers, Master Mike Reeves, who's his style is Ishiru karate, and he's a phenomenal breaker as well. But yeah, and we're also working with a few other organizations. We're trying to grow the sport of breaking internationally a little bit
Yes.
more.
Yes.
So that'll be fun.
I can just imagine it should be. Now, with doing all of this, getting into martial arts, because after 3 decades of martial arts, there it has to be a passion, and so we recognize that ever since your childhood, you've loved the martial arts. But this aspect of it that we're addressing tonight, which is why we titled tonight's broadcast "Empowered," takes us on a kind of a different path, but yet still going in the same trajectory. Tell us a little bit about your involvement with wanting to empower women and how this book that you wrote came about.
Okay, yeah. So Howard. So again, so COVID kind of hit in 2020, and
Yes,
up here in Canada, pretty much all the martial arts schools were shut down, where we were not able to teach in person.
right.
So I decided to write a book. I'm not going to go a little bit earlier than that. So a few years before that, um, one of my black belts, Cheryl Sanders, and I started teaching women at a workshop. We were actually invited by a local parent to teach like a mother daughter workshop for some of these daughters that were going to high school and going off to college and that. So I asked one of my really good friends and students, Cheryl Sanders, if she wanted to help me teach the seminar. And
Right.
we really get along really well. And when we this is like the first time we ever taught together. We had such a really cool dynamic as far as how we taught and interacted when we were teaching. And then, like literally a month later, we were asked to teach another woman's self-defense workshop at the local library.
Mm.
And during that, we had this like dynamic where we that everybody just loves how we team up and how we interact with each other and how we interact with the attendees at these workshops. And I said to her, "Hey, why don't we just do this together?" And she goes, "Sure." And then literally like a month later after that, we got another call to go teach and do like, some lectures and demonstrations at ladies' night out at a local restaurant. So
Mm-hmm.
we like literally like August, September, October, we were hitting all these seminars, pop, 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 pop. And
Yeah.
then we started teaching, start holding our own workshop at my school. And so we were doing that for a while, and as we were getting more and more into it, getting a name, people contacting us, and we're again how Mayor Cheryl and I were teaching together, and how I think what they really liked, I think the woman really liked it when she just pounds on me, quite frankly. I can keep doing a meeting, so I think they kind of enjoy that. And then when COVID hit, well, I kind of killed our momentum. So, nothing was really happening. Like, I don't know. I said to her, you know what? I said, if I were to write a book for like women's self defense, as a mother of a couple of girls, if I were to write a book, what would you want in the book that you could read and then pass on to your daughters? And then so her and I kind of discussed it a little bit, and then that kind of was kind of the genesis of writing Empowered. So for about 3.5 weeks, I just sat down, just wrote that, and in 3.5 weeks I got that sucker done. And I had her help me do a lot of the editing, and she wrote the forward to the book. Actually,
Yes.
she she's actually the inspiration behind the whole empowerment thing that we do together. If it weren't for her, actually, it's funny. I was just texting her before I popped on tonight and said, "It's your fault that I'm on here tonight." She's
You
like,
should
she's like,
text her. Text her the
huh?
number and have her call me right now. Text her the number 773.
All right, yep, give me 1 second.
Yeah, go ahead.
Uh, all right. What's the number?
773
773
789
789
7839.
7839.
Yeah. Tell
Call the number to be on podcast.
yeah,
All right.
tell her call right
We'll,
now.
we'll see if the answers are not clear for that. She's a mother of three daughters.
Hmm.
She super hard worker. Um, she's one of these girls that is just sweet, quiet. You know, nobody would ever expect her to be able to kick your ass. And this girl had phenomenal power, and she's really into this whole woman empowerment thing, but in
Yes.
a way where it's not a cliche. It's not like I don't know how hard to describe it, but yeah, she's the one that inspired me. And then when I kind of finished writing the book, I said, why don't we kind of start like a side hustle where this is actually our business, where we actually try to get workshops going. We did some online workshops. We actually have a YouTube channel,
Yeah.
youtube.com/empowered8083, and we just put up a bunch of videos of self-defense techniques and fitness and taekwondo related stuff, just to help women, like, kind of ease them into martial arts and self-defense. I know
Yes.
like a lot of women tend to shy away because it might be violent or they might get hurt. Where
Right, right.
Cheryl has a way of what she believes is the best thing for most women is to either take a self-defense workshop to get started or to do like a fitness kickboxing program and then start martial arts that way. That's how she started. Was she did fitness kickboxing with me, and then
Hmm.
she started taekwondo, and then kind of everything kind of went from there. But
Yeah.
also for whatever reason, I have a lot of females in my dojo in my
Yeah.
academy. We don't necessarily advertise our program or toward women per se, but it just seems like I think what happens is a lot of our female black belts that we have inspire other females to come in and empower themselves.
Mm. Now, the whole idea behind Empowered, having gone through that book, there's the theme kind of goes through the book that, as a woman, you deserve to recognize that you are strong, and others need to also recognize that you are strong. And so, because of the way society tends to be set up, with man being the protector of woman, and they're also the same ones that tend to be the aggressors against or toward women. So it's a little bit of a interesting dynamic with men and women. But the moment you start to say, "Hey, woman, understand that you you have this strength within you. You can do these things. You are strong. You can defend yourself. You don't deserve to be put down or beat up on or anything like that." what was it? In fact, before I'm gonna ask you, and you can think about it. Um, was there anything aside from Sandra? You said Sandra was her name?
Girl,
Cheryl, right? I should know that. uh, Apart from Cheryl, were there other women in your life that led you to want to go down this path, or was it just by way of your interaction with her and wanting to help him? So think about it
no,
but just before you answer
me,
though. Just before you answer, I'm gonna part company with those on Clubhouse and on Facebook Live. You guys use a link in the description. Come on over to kevinstew.com for the remainder of the broadcast. Come to the home of the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. We are encouraged to have acceptance through enlightenment. So those on Facebook Live, see you guys. I want to take care. Those on Clubhouse, sayonara. We'll do it again tomorrow. All being well. All right, Jonathan, it's all on you.
okay, so yes, and share. Okay, I have taught other women like Cheryl to years before I did it with Cheryl. I've taught some self-defense workshops with some of the other female black belts and that, but and they're all like really good. Um, teacher, but her and I had this really good friendship. We just have a it's easy for us to interact and teach our style. But also um I've had a few younger black belts that I've had like a couple girls, Michaela and Charlotte, who I
Mm-hmm.
call my Taekwondo daughters,
Yes.
who I knew. Well, Charlotte I knew because her mother was actually my teacher, so I knew Charlotte when she was in her mommy's tummy, and then
Mm.
Michaela, my other Taekwondo daughter, I knew her since she was like 6 or 7 years old as a young child. And I watched the two young girls grow up into martial arts, go through high school, go through the whole high school thing where,
Yes.
everything that, girls deal with in high school. And I kind of became a semi-stereotypical father to them a little bit. And I even like going through college and that, and like that was another thing where that was another aspect of writing the book was even though I don't have children myself, the I know what it's like to be quote unquote a father, or at least be a father figure to young girls. And
Right.
seeing these girls, they can literally kick your butt, but they're also very feminine at the same time.
Right. Right.
That was another thing that kind of led me down this path of wanting to do the whole women's empowerment thing as well. And then actually, my Taekwondo master, Grandmaster Veronica DeSanto, who of DeSanto's martial arts in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Um, my master, again, she's a female, and she's a female. She of dark skin from Guyana,
Oh, okay.
so in second language, so she had all these things kind of against her per se, right? Being a
Mm-hmm.
female and all that in the martial arts, and so I have that respect for high level female martial arts. There's not really a whole lot of like females that get the rank of like 6, 7, 8 degree black belt. So I have that as
Right.
well. That kind of I kind of want to pass that on too, right? Or whenever I can, I make sure my female students get to meet my master. Because it's one of those rare things, again, being, a black woman, foreign country, English is your second language, and she's a business owner in Toronto, which is very competitive, and she's rocking it.
Yeah. Yeah. Um. You mentioned your Taekwondo daughters. In the
Hmm.
book, you told a story of being out at this like a house party or something with these
Yep,
girls.
yep,
Are those the girls?
yes. Most of the stories in that book are based on some reality. I might have to tweak a couple details here and
Some
there,
of your
but
actual experiences.
like that particular story that you're talking about, we all like a bunch of us. It was when we went to a birthday party for one of my other black belts,
Mm-hmm.
and there was a bunch of us black belts there. There was some teenagers, some of us adult black belts, and these two my taekwondo daughters. were hanging out with the other teenagers, and I just had that really bad feeling about the one guy. From my perspective, he was definitely high and drunk
Mm-hmm.
and probably being a little stupid, and they were kind of hanging out with him. And I just had that weird father feeling that something's not right. But luckily, they had the intelligence to realize that when a bunch of us left the party, they also left too. They didn't want to be left alone with this guy. Um, the martial arts, kind of, keep your eyes open and pay attention to what we call it situational awareness, where you're being very aware of what possibly could happen. It's better to be more hyperactive that way and avoid something that could or could not happen.
Right. So that was a real scenario.
And all the stories,
Yes.
like yeah, I would say all the stories in the book are either stuff that I've been directly involved in,
Right.
or what my females has directly been involved with. So they're all like first and second um, case scenarios where, yep, like we went through all this, we learned all this stuff, yeah, and it's just everyday stuff that females deal with, right? I know I've had another one of my clients. She read the book, and then she was getting mad at some of the stuff that was in it, right? Because it was like so close to the stuff that she deals with on a day-to-day basis, and her husband couldn't figure out why she was getting so mad, so she made him read the book too. Like, hey, like this is the stuff that females have to deal with on a day-to-day
Mm.
basis. It's
Yes.
not right, you.
Right. Right. I having going through the book. I as the more I read it, I was like, this is so needed. It is. It isn't to say that it's something new, but it is definitely needed. And it's like being told, hey, you can do it. Whatever it is that you set your mind to, you can actually do it. And we know this, but yet still we don't put it at the forefront of our minds. And so we believe that we can't do a lot of things until we're reminded. This book is like a constant reminder, but not only a reminder, but a guideline to how to, as a woman, protect yourself, yes, but not only that, as a reminder to constantly practice it. Because you're
Yes,
not you're not
correct. Yeah.
you're not telling anybody how to hit really anywhere in the, well, there are a couple of places in the book that you would mention um, weak points and strong points, but really and truly you're not telling anybody how to hit someone, like to position your foot here, swivel your pivot around your waist and punch through the object, through your shoulder, follow it through. You're not telling anybody any of that. You're going through the how. Here's how you try to avoid this situation. And I thought
That's kind of
that's
the
brilliant.
whole book was like the physical part, like 10% that we want to avoid.
Yeah.
The other 90% is just being like aware of your situation, understanding what like different scenarios that possibly could happen in those situations, how to avoid them, how to use your words. Um, women are very intelligent. Most people are incredibly intelligent, just don't realize it.
Right.
And what kind of reminds you, hey, you are incredibly intelligent, and to use that, like what Cheryl says a lot, is she, our gut instinct, right? Those butterflies that we get in our stomach, they're
Mm-hmm.
there for a reason. We need to learn to listen to that. They're like our sixth sense or our spidey sense, whatever you want to call it.
Yes.
And that's what she likes to, when we do workshops, that she's the one that tends to talk about listen to your intuition
Mm-hmm.
about stuff. Uh, and then also, like, sometimes um, especially women, they don't want to offend anybody sometimes, so they kind
Yes.
of get themselves, they don't get themselves into it, but they kind of, what am I trying to think of the word? They don't get themselves into a situation, but they could maybe get themselves out of a situation that was created earlier if they would
Yes.
learn also that they don't have to worry about offending somebody. It's better to slightly offend somebody than to not offend them and somehow stay in a situation that is not of the best interest of them.
Right, right.
Um, yeah,
To end up in a dangerous situation. Yeah.
yeah. Like things like that. And there was that one case that I read about a few years back where there was I can't remember if I put it in the book or not, but there was a woman living in New York, and she ended up being I think she ended up being sexually assaulted. She went into her apartment building, into the elevator, and there was a guy behind her, and she let the guy in there, and she
Mm-hmm.
had a really bad feeling.
Yes.
Something was really wrong, but instead of like just leaving, she stayed in the elevator, and she like completely like didn't listen to her gut, and the guy ended up hitting her over the head, and um, did
As
what he did to her, and what she told the cops later on was the reason why she didn't leave the elevator was she didn't want to offend the guy.
mm,
Like, no, you got like don't like if I was a guy if I walked into an elevator with a woman and suddenly she left, I wouldn't even think of it. For me personally, I'd be like, maybe she had to go do something else. I wouldn't. Especially if
yeah.
it's a stranger, I wouldn't feel offended. So we kind of have to re-educate the woman on that too. Like, just do
Right.
what's best for you. Don't worry about anybody else.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. When you're doing your self defense classes or even your taekwondo classes, is this some of the things that you tell your students on a regular
Yes.
as you're
So actually, even during the earlier kids class today, we were talking about bullying, for example. And last week we were talking about the four types of bullying, like cyberbullying, social, emotional, physical, and verbal bullying. And today we were mainly focusing on cyberbullying, what cyberbullying is, and how to deal with it when it does happen to them.
mhm.
So yeah, we do definitely talk to our students. Like younger students will have like those what we call mat chats, and then with the adult, when I'm teaching the self defense techniques, that like I'm constantly bringing up situational awareness, and like how to gauge someone else's energy versus like you
Mm,
just you can't have the same techniques for five different scenarios, like meaning like energy levels. So if it was let's say you're at a Christmas party and it was somebody that was just drunk, like super drunk, and they kind of grabbed a hold of you. You just can't hold off and start beating the crap out of this guy that's slightly drunk versus somebody that in a dark alley somewhere being very aggressive. But we teach them to also understand about what the energy is and how to match that energy or what self defense techniques and what limits, what level should you take it to based on meeting the person, the scenario that you're actually in. Like,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, drunk could be somebody that's maybe got Alzheimer's, doesn't know what they're doing, or it could be somebody who really does have bad intentions towards you, and you need to finish it as quick as possible. And we're always talking about when it comes to self-defense. Self-defense is not fighting. That's what we do when we spar, or a competition.
Mm-hmm.
Self-defense is using whatever means necessary to create an escape opportunity so you can leave the situation as soon as
Yes.
possible, not necessarily
Yes.
fight.
Yes. And I like how you come back to that point throughout the book. As a reminder, what you're trying to get across is here are ways for you to get out of this situation. Run as fast as you can as soon as you get that opportunity and tell somebody, especially the authorities, as soon as possible also. And throughout the book, you emphasize these things. And I absolutely just love that. Because, again, for something to become a habit, you have to be doing it repetitively. And because a lot of times these situations are one off without going through the scenarios in your head, without running simulation for a better use, lack of a better word, let's use that. You know, without running simulations, you wouldn't know really what to do when you're in that situation because you could actually end up just freezing because of shock.
Yeah,
And
that's correct. Yeah, so that's the one thing where, like, when we teach workshops and that self-defense seminar, we tell them, like, you know what, you're gonna forget most of what we just taught you. You know, well, it's true, right? Like, even they say, even professional fighter, like UFC fighters, boxers,
yes,
they lose like 95% of what they learned and what they've been training for, let's say, 12 weeks, 16 weeks for that fight. They lose 95% of what they were training. They go back to the fundamental, to the basics. And for us, for self-defense, is situational awareness. And we'll add one concept or two concepts in the book. One of them was the 5 second rule. Whenever
yes,
you enter a new environment or a new situation with somebody, you're scanning the area or you're like trying to read the energy of this new area for 5 seconds
yes,
to see is there a potential threat or no, and then also you can be running through where's the exit if you need to escape real quick, or if you need to use a physical barrier between you and the assailant. Where are those things? Or if there's something in the room, could I use as a weapon if I need to defend myself? But I also mentioned in the book about how like even though the news and the newspapers are so negative nowadays, and
yes,
all the crap going on, how to like use a newspaper or the news when you hear of a situation where somebody got mugged at a convenience store,
yes,
at the ATM machine, whatever. Whenever you hear about these things, taking a moment or two to think about what would you do in that situation. So you're always practicing in your mind because in reality, the mind doesn't can't distinguish what's in your mind and what reality is. So you're running through these scenarios all the time in your head. It's going to
yes.
become a little bit of at least a little bit of muscle memory, so that if something does happen, you are a little bit better prepared than if you hadn't done that.
Right, right, right. You mentioned the 5 second rule. How long did it take you to get a grasp of the 5 second rule? Do you still practice it?
Yeah, the concept that I not willingly or not knowingly been practicing for a long time. Kind of, I sometimes I'll call myself the human predator. I don't mean
Mm,
that in a bad way, or I'm looking to be a predator or anything. But like when I'm out and about, like I'll
yes,
just be like if I'm walking to the bank or something, I'll be like scanning the area, just people watching, and I'll literally look for like who's the weak person, who's the person that's not paying attention, versus the person that okay that could be a potential threat. And I've been doing that for a long time, and then I heard the concept of the 5 second rule from different instructors over the years as well. So it's not a an
mm,
idea that in the martial arts itself, definitely not my idea, it's just an idea that I'm
yeah,
sharing.
yes,
But no, I've definitely been practicing for many years, not even knowing it was the 5 second rule, but just paying attention to people, like, like, the one that I always tell my students is the one time I went to the bank and there was this, well, two stories. There was an elderly man that was carrying a bag. Well, he wasn't carrying. He was literally dragging a bag of change. He must have had God knows how much money he had, like like not like a pillowcase full of change. And he's dragging it. I'm like, it would take one smart aleck kid to knock him over and take that money, right? Because
right,
he's not thinking, right? Like he's an old man, like literally a guy probably in his 70s, hunched over, dragging this bag of money.
right,
Just
yeah,
like, there's this other gentleman who I don't know him personally, but I know him through a friend who owns a local business now. And he's a very heavy set gentleman,
mm-hmm.
and he was carrying again boxes of money. And at the banks that we have up here, they give you these boxes that literally say money on the outside, and he's carrying this box of money, barely wrapped his hand around the
Yeah,
box of money for you so heavy. I'm like, yeah, I'm thinking, you know what? It would take one smart aleck person to barely knock him over, grab that money, and he wouldn't be able to defend himself. So it's
right,
like these two people have different backgrounds, different shapes. They're not even aware of how easy could be for them to become victims under the right circumstances.
Right.
Like, you shouldn't be just walking around with saying, "Hey, here's my money," you know.
Literally, that's exactly what both of them were doing. But
Yeah.
with just looking at you as a taekwondo master, the fact that you even think about it, that says something. Yes, you're taking it from the perspective of, okay, who is not being aware in this situation? But I'm pretty sure you're looking around. You mentioned it. Who in this in my field of vision right now would be considered or could be considered a threat?
Mhm.
And that kind of awareness to know that, hey, you are well versed in martial arts, you can protect yourself, but yet still you are basically practicing what you preach by being aware of what is happening in your surroundings. When you walk into a place, do you actually look for those exits and the whatever objects nearby that you could use as a weapon if you need to defend yourself? Do you actually do that?
Yeah, like, as far as like exits or doors, that's just I don't even have to think about that. It's not like people are gonna think, "Oh, you're paranoid." No, I'm not paranoid.
Yeah.
It's just something that you learn to become very aware of just by your sight. Okay, there's the door. You make note of it. But it's not a. It's just it becomes a habit that's very relaxed. It's like driving down the street.
Mm-hmm.
You're paying attention to the stop signs, looking for pedestrians. It's the same thing,
Right.
right?
Right. Right.
But I've also had a situation. Oh, going about back about 11, back in 2011 when I won the one ISK World Championship. I was in the papers and everybody knew I won. And we ended up going to the one pool hall one night to play some pool. And at
Mm-hmm.
first when we went in there, we had the place all to ourselves. And then a little bit later on, a bunch of guys showed up that were of questionable character. And the one guy kept kind of semi trying to pick a fight with me.
Mm.
And I had a pool cue in my hand. I was like playing pool and that. I'm thinking, this could be a very good bow staff. Like I literally, this is like the traditional bow staff,
Yeah.
Okinawan martial arts, right? Japanese martial arts. Everybody done the bow staff. If you've done
Yeah.
both martial arts, the bow staff, right? And
Yeah.
then, or I'm thinking, or if you break this bow staff, now you have two shorter sticks for Cali sticks or Filipino martial arts, right? And it's like
Right. Right.
those things can come up. And it was funny because this one gentleman, I'm gonna use the term gentleman, he was not a gentleman. He kept trying to get me to sit behind a table with him. I'm like, well, if I sit behind this table, I have no exit strategy. I'm literally stuck behind this table. So I kind of make sure I was always in an area where I was able to freely move.
Mm.
So yeah, like I definitely again, this is all without thinking. Like this is not like I have to think about this. No, this is just stuff that became habit early on, and
Right.
I've learned to avoid a lot of situations because of things like that.
You mentioned that it's not like you're paranoid or anything like that. For those that are listening and even just becoming familiar with self defense, if they're looking at places like this, going into a place and looking for exits, looking for loose objects that could possibly be used as weapons, don't they run kind of you? Well, no, let me not put it that way. Let me ask you: have you found where some of your students have thought or said to you, but that is kind of paranoid? Master Jonathan, that's that's being paranoid. Have you had any
Actually,
students that told you that?
they haven't told me that directly. Maybe they didn't talk behind my back. I don't know, but
Yeah.
no, I don't think. I think we all kind of have that same mentality. That it's just you gotta protect yourself. Like it's one of those, like, the world is getting more and more dangerous. But like I said, it's not really. Like I said, you're not really being paranoid. It's not like you're panicking, looking around. It's just like it's a very relaxed habit, right?
Mm.
It's like it's no different than being a defensive driver driving down the highway. It's
Right. Right.
literally no different.
Right.
right? Like you have to defeat it that way. It's no different than a fitness person watching what they eat to make sure that they don't get certain diseases or become obese or whatever. Like you're watching the calories, not paranoid.
Right.
It's kind of the same thing, right? It's just you know, it's
And
not like like a child going to school who's being bullied
yes.
and they're always or trying to avoid that bully. Yeah, they're paranoid because something's happened to them that caused them to become paranoid. But if you learn these habits before something happens to you, then you're not really paranoid. You're just being very,
Cautious.
very aware, but in a very
Yeah.
relaxed manner. Like nobody will even know that you're looking around. Like it's one of those things where if I'm looking at the screen right now, looking at you,
Yes.
I can see the screen. I can see four different doors in the room I'm in without having to scan them.
Right. Right.
So
So it's knowing your environment to the point where you can close your eyes and know where what is. Because sometimes we have power cuts. What can I say? You got to know, have an idea which direction you're going with the faintest of lights. You mentioned someone watching your diet as a martial arts instructor. What is your routine like? Your regular routine as it relates to exercise and diet. What is that like for you?
for me personally, right now, first thing I get up at 5:30 in the morning to work out. So I have a nice little gym set up in my basement. I got exercise bike. I got Bowflex. I got squat racks. I can squat benches. I got kettlebells. I got dumbbells. I got barbells. I got bands. I got everything. I work out for probably about 45 minutes to an hour, depending on that particular workout.
Mm,
Monday, to Friday, and then after that, I'll have my shower, have a good healthy breakfast. Normally, like eggs and a little bit of beef or something along that line. Oatmeal, typical. Lots of protein, carbs,
mm,
and then I'll go down to my academy with Taekwondo school, and I'll maybe do a little bit of office work. But then by like quarter to 8 in the morning, I'm doing my second training session. That might last from quarter to 8 o'clock to maybe 9:30, doing my various conditioning. So whether I'm conditioning for breaking, like a lot of iron body training, strength training, working my taekwondo patterns or my Ukrainian fumse or just Japanese kata, working self-defense techniques, kicking techniques, um, do a lot of the Superfoot Bill Wallace style kicking
mm.
and stretching, which I do dynamic stretching, joint mobility, the Bill Wallace style stretching, and then I typically also have a couple morning classes. In the morning, I have a fitness kickboxing class I teach in the morning, as well as a taekwondo class. And I normally go home for lunch, eat, and have a little bit of a nap. And then I go back down to the academy, do more office work, prepare class plans and what we're going to do for teaching. And I'll teach 4 to 5 classes a night. And
Mm.
then I'm normally at the academy till about shortly after 9 till 9:30 at night. So I'm actually pretty active from like 5:30 in the morning till 9:30 at night. And I'm
Yeah.
also eating like 6, 7, 8 times a day, depending on that particular day as well. Like eat a lot of my diet is around 40% protein,
Yes.
about 40% carbs, and about 20% protein.
Huh. Wow. you know, and you work out. This is your routine pretty much every day. You said you work out for about an hour every morning.
Every morning, like Monday through Friday. So that's my Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
Um, Routine, and then Saturday morning, we have an early Taekwondo class. We call our black belt sunrise class that we start teaching at 7:15 in the morning on
Mm.
Saturday, and we'll spend like an hour and a half training our black belts that are getting ready for their next black belt, and like a lot of fitness, a lot of their requirements. And then I also have like 3 classes after that, and then right now on Saturday, the last class, the last training session, we're also training our team for the World Championship down
Yes.
in Orlando here in a couple weeks.
Yes. Yes.
Um, and then Sundays, I try not to do anything. Sundays is the day where I kind of unplug. I don't check my email. I don't you know do a whole lot of online stuff. I just chill.
I
Don't
can
do
just
anything.
imagine.
You
Yeah.
gotta, you gotta, you gotta have at least one day where you let the body recover.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, with days like yours, you need. Boy, it sounds like you need 2 days, but yeah, you definitely
But
need that one day to recover.
I can do that like day in day out and kind of listen to my body. So like I know like I have workouts that are really hard, and then certain days where I'm like, you know what, I need to back off a little bit, even though I want to do this and this and this. I
Yes.
need to like take that half a day. Okay, you know what? Don't do as much, or don't stretch as hard, or don't lift as hard, or don't whatever it is that particular day. Like it's okay to. I have to teach myself it's okay to listen to your body, respect the body. When your body sore in a bad way, not in a good
Yes.
way, but in a bad way, then back off, let it heal. And
Right.
that
Right.
way, when you are healed, then you can actually go harder and benefit more than trying to train when you're too sore. You're not really doing the workout anyway. I
Yes.
had to
Yes.
kind of well, like when you're younger, like when you're in your 20s, you just go hard all day, every day,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah. Definitely.
time you hit mid 30s, late 30s is like, yeah, I can't do that anymore. But the funny learning to respect your body that way, I'm actually still becoming more flexible,
Yes.
which is weird.
You're still.
But that um, learning to be in tune with your body. I think that the one thing about being a master in martial art
Mm-hmm.
is becoming a master of yourself more than anything else. And
Right. Right.
I think master is a more of a title more than a destination per se. Like it's hard to like say that you truly mastered a style, just or even martial arts in general. There's so much stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
that and it's funny. The higher degree you get, the higher up. Like I'm a 6th degree black belt, and it seems like every degree, every time you learn something new, you realize, you know what? Even though I know this, there's way more that I don't know. Like I don't know what I don't know.
Right.
That's
Right.
that's the beautiful part as well.
Right. Wow. You know, I I looked at myself back in the day when I started doing martial arts, and I looked at everybody else around me. I looked at younger people than me that are more advanced. I looked at older people than me that are just getting in, and I was like, this is so interesting. But I I I can say I never really saw myself going for a black belt or to become a kung fu master. I saw myself as one to learn and be aware and to get to a point where at least I know I can defend myself in a situation and possibly help someone else out of a situation. To have that determination to get to a black belt and then to get to a black belt several times over. Because, you know, with martial arts you think, okay, black belt, you're there, you have arrived. But then you have these other degrees of black belt. So you keep learning and learning and learning and doing more and grading and advancing even more and training harder and harder. You see yourself stopping anytime soon?
No, I'm like I also had the same boat that you were. Like I never saw myself like getting a black belt or going up all these different grades. Just that was just something that somehow happened. Like it's literally just one of those things where my passion for it just kind of took me in that direction. It's like it was definitely none of this was planned per se. Like definitely nothing was planned. Um, as far as retiring, that no, I have so many friends in martial arts that like in their 50s and 60s and 70s and even their age, they're still going. And like that's the beauty of martial arts. It's like
Mm.
as long as you keep going, it's gonna help you keep going. And as far as like like I said, going back to what I said earlier, like you, master is not necessarily a destination, and like every time you get to a degree or every time you learn something, well, I'm constantly learning the basics over and over again. Like I'll learn a slightly different perspective. Like if I'm studying one of these like different styles, like these 7 different styles that I'm working on, even though when you really truly look at the core fundamental is exactly the same, it's just a slightly different thing,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what's keeping me going too. Is like there's so much to learn. There's so much to learn. Just the fundamentals, the basics.
Yes.
You'll never truly get to the advanced. And there's no, because wise man once said, there's no such thing as an advanced technique, only an advanced way of thinking about a fundamental technique. And
Ah,
take that
yes.
to heart. But also, like me being a school owner for almost 20 years now, I get to see these young kids, like 3, 4 year olds, start. And I get to see these adults that are starting in their 50s, for example. And it's like,
Yes.
we're all on the same journey, but then like to see an adult that's never done martial arts before start in their 50s,
Mm-hmm.
that gives me hope. Okay, in like 20 years from now or 10 years from now, I can still be doing this at their age. Like if they can do it at their age where they've never
Never
been
done it
fit,
before. Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
you know, and I've been fit all this time. It's
Yes.
like there's no excuse for me to stop
Yes.
either.
Yes. I see myself getting back into martial arts, but doing something like Tai Chi. you know, that's
Tai Chi is not that easy on the body. I've done a little bit of
yeah.
Tai Chi in my early 20s, and and to learn it from a real Tai Chi master and like to do it properly for the martial art, not just for movement and dance per se or exercise, but to really learn Tai
Yeah.
Chi is a lot more difficult than what people think it is, and
Yeah.
it's hard on the body too.
Yeah. Um. Again, not to become a Tai Chi master or anything like that, but the as indisciplined as I am, I want to do it for the discipline. If that makes sense, you know.
Yeah, totally.
So, but I'll work that part out at some point in time. Now, your book, Empowered. Let me go ahead and put the image up here so that people can see it. Empowered. Essential concepts and strategies every woman should know about self-defense. This is your guide, so to speak, to self-defense for women. And I'll say you did an awesome job putting this book together. It's simple enough for anyone to read through it and get a grasp of the concept that you're putting out there. It's not seventh degree black belt information, but at the same time it is. Because again, like you said, there isn't an advanced technique, but an advanced way of doing a technique. So it's just being knowledgeable and putting that knowledge to use constantly, keeping it at the forefront of your mind. There was a section in the book where you mentioned the, you told a story of Maisha and her coworker stopped at a light and someone opening the door.
Mhm.
Now, more often than not, I don't think about anybody trying to open my door. But I guess because I'm a guy,
Mhm.
um, I have driven with women that their doors don't lock automatically.
Mhm.
And I get into the car and we start moving off and I hear all the doors lock. I'm like, are we serious? You locking me in here or something? What's going on? But that is something that they would do habitually without thinking. Vroom, move off, foot off the brake, doors go lock. And I'm like, but it makes sense. And they had gotten to a point where they weren't even aware that they were doing it. And this is what you were talking about in this book. Practicing these simple things that can actually save your life. And for you and Cheryl to have gotten together to put these things into practice, regular practice, because you're teaching these things in these seminars, in these workshops. And now you have this book, which I'm going to tell everybody to try to get, because I have gone through this book and it is an excellent read. Not a whole lot of information, but just enough information to cover all the bases. And
That was really the main point of that.
yeah,
Like, well, I was talking to Cheryl about it originally, like the original concept of the book was like, again, if as a woman, if you're as a mother of three daughters, if you were to read this book
mm,
and then be able to pass it on to your daughters so that your daughters can understand, because at that time her daughters were, I'm not going to say how old they were, because she'll kick me dead, but like they were like young enough when they were like teenager, preteen, and then a little bit younger than preteen. So three different age, but it could be so literally you got your an adult mother,
yes,
teenager, preteen, and a little bit younger than preteen. That same book can speak to all of them. That was really the concept because I over the years I've collected a lot of martial arts books. I think you can probably get martial arts books, DVDs. I'm gonna date myself here with VHS cassettes as well, and like
yeah,
there's a lot of good information. There's also a lot of information out there that was um, put out there for martial artists. They
yes,
weren't speaking to the average person. And like
right, right,
you and I can talk about certain things in a martial arts language that the ordinary person would understand, like pro wrestling and how pro wrestlers have kayfabe where they use certain languages to talk to each other, and people, the average person doesn't understand what they're talking about. It's the same with martial art. We have our own language, and if you're trying to talk to a non-martial artist about this language, they're like, "What?" It doesn't mean they're stupid. They just a
mm-hmm.
different language. Like you try to speak French to me, I'm like, "What?" But if I try to speak, you're not gonna understand, right? So it's the same thing with the book. It had to be the language had to be so simplistic
Mm-hmm.
that again, if I gave this to a mother, and she were to pass it on to her daughter, they need to understand. And also with this book, we also made a part of our curriculum for our black belt testing that we do. We do a yearly black belt test, and all of our black belt candidates, regardless of gender, so male and female, regardless of age, have to read it, and we discuss it. We get
Mm,
together and we discuss it at our black belt midterms. So we got like, you know, adult males in their 40s, females in their 50s. Um, we have like young boys and girls that are like 9, 10, 11 years old. And
mm-hmm.
when they all these different age groups and gender can talk about it, and they all have their own unique uh, perspectives on it based on their life experiences. And that's
Yes.
what's really cool about it too. That no matter who I give this book to, you can
Mm-hmm.
grasp the concepts.
Where can people find the book? Well, before you go there, do you have a follow up to this book in the works?
You know what? I kind of semi have one. It's over at I can't remember what it's called actually. I can't remember what the .com is. I do kind of have one, but
Mm-hmm.
I actually just advertise it on Amazon. Like if you go to like I'm in Canada, so Amazon.ca, or you guys are down the state, Amazon.com. If
Mm-hmm.
you just type in Jaws of Field Empowered or Empowered Self Defense or something along that line, you'll find it on Amazon. We have it in paperback. We
Mm-hmm.
have it in Kindle version. And what you and I were discussing earlier, in case anybody doesn't know, you're the one that did the audiobook for me. The audiobook just got approved this afternoon. So you should be able to get that on audio, or
Awesome.
what's that German called?
Audible.
Audible. You'll
Yes.
get it on
On
Audible,
Audible.
and you'll get it on iTunes, I believe, as well. So that just happened
Awesome.
this afternoon.
Awesome. That
Because it's kind
listen,
of funny how you and I were just discussing how we
right.
didn't approve it, and like a half an hour later, I get the email saying they approved it. So I haven't checked it out myself, but yeah, like the paperback version, which is well, I like the paperback version. Actually, this is my favorite copy because Ma'am Cheryl she
Autographed
signed
it.
it for me.
Yes.
Okay, we get the paperback, the Kindle version, now the audio book version of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's and then we if you actually go to womanempowermenttraining.com, you should be able to find a link to that there. And that's where you'll find all Cheryl and I's videos and blogs and some of the stuff that we do in that channel, on that .com as well.
Nice. Awesome. Listen, Jonathan, you don't even know the kind of pride that I'm feeling right now to have been a part of this, to contribute my little bit to this information coming out, being empowered, a woman's guide to self defense. You know,
Actually, the one beauty, I'm gonna cut you off. Like the beautiful part about now having it on, audio book version that
yes,
you did the voice for, is that instead of always reading the book, I think the woman should read the book, and when you read it, it gets into your brain a little bit different than you listen to it. But
yes,
then they can also buy the audio version, and they can listen to it while they're commuting to work.
yes,
That's
yes.
the beauty. Or when they're at work and they're doing paperwork, they don't have to pay attention to anybody else.
Yeah,
They can literally listen to it. We all do it. We all listen to
yeah,
podcasts and stuff when we're
right,
working, right? So
right,
the
right.
beauty is we're working and listening to this. So repetition, if they, and even once a month, they listen to it on audio just to refresh. That's the beauty. That's the real empowerment behind what you and I just did with the
Yes,
audio.
yeah,
I'm very appreciative that you reached out to me to do it because I had contacted a couple other people. I'm brand new to the audio world,
yes.
and I had a couple rejections that were kind of rude. Like the one guy's like, "I'm only a professional. I only work with professionals." And blah blah blah. And the other guy's like, "You haven't sold enough copies of this book yet." And I'm like, "Oh my
Wow.
god, this is brutal." And then you come along, you're like, "Yeah, I want to do your book." I'm like, this is awesome. Like, you know, I have to thank you for that. That you were willing to, take a risk on me on that.
And I thank you for taking a risk on me. You know, having not known me from anywhere. You know, and again, here I am. You're Canadian. I'm Jamaican. I come with a little bit of an accent, and yet still here I am narrating your book.
No, I
Awesome,
love it. Like,
awesome.
it's a nice accent and it sounds good and it just has the right tone. I think it has the right tonality that I was looking for. Yeah,
Well,
because actually
thanks.
people say, well, "Why don't you get a female to do it?" I'm like, well, the the narrator, like, and if you just read the book yourself, it's kind of a you can tell it's a male that wrote the book. At
Yes,
least that's how I think of it. So I'm like, it's important that it comes from a male's voice. I think eventually, um, potentially, in years down the road, we'll probably write a second book of Howard where it's going to be a little bit more of a little bit of the stuff that we didn't put in this one, as well as some of the physical techniques. And, and Cheryl and I think we're going to end up writing that one eventually together. So we're going to have to find like a male and a female narrator. That's going to be kind of cool too. And we'll definitely think of you. Actually, my other book that just came out as well, I definitely want you to do the audio for that if you're interested.
oh, I'd be honored. I'd be honored. Thank you. Thank you. Jonathan, please, once again, put out one, your contact information, and two, where people can get your books.
Yeah, sure. So I'm the owner of Taekwondo here up here in Coburg, Ontario, Canada. So if you just wanted to check us out Taekwondo wise. You can go to cobrataekwondo.ca.com.org or .net. Or you can also go to my personal YouTube channel at youtube.com/sirfield. Want my personal Taekwondo. If you want the women's empowerment stuff, you can go to womanempowermenttraining.com to check out Ma'am Cheryl and I stuff. You can check out our YouTube channel at youtube.com/empowered8083. Or again, if you want to go ahead and pick up your paperback copy or the Kindle version or the new audio version that Kevin did the voice for, you can go to Amazon and check those out.
Thank you, Jonathan. Master Jonathan Field, ladies and gentlemen, live and in living color, joining us here on the night shift of DJ Kevin Stew in Community and Finance, all the way from Canada. How's the weather up there right now?
Well, it's not cold. Everything in Canada is an igloo. Actually, right today was about 14 or 15 degrees Celsius, which is actually kind of warm right now
Yeah.
for this time of year. Like normally it's a little bit damper right now, but I think with the global warming and all, our weather's getting nicer. Like we don't really have the snow like we used to. Not well, not where I am. 'Cause most people think that Canada we're way up the North Pole, but when you actually look where I live in Canada and Ontario,
Yes.
I consider us like we're like the American Canadians. Like
Mm.
if you were on where I am and you just go south of the border, so I'm like just north of Rochester. Like you got Lake Ontario, and you
Right.
got Coburn or Toronto. I mean, most people know Toronto.
Yeah.
Just south of the border, you have Rochester, New York. So like, there's not really much difference between a Canadian where I am versus
A
you
New
know
Yorker.
the Americans from like New York.
Yeah.
Very similar.
Yes.
I think the Canadians are a little friendlier, but other than that,
You're just biased.
but yeah, yeah, the weather's nice though. It's definitely not Canadian weather right now.
Yeah, so 15 degrees Celsius, that's around about 60 degrees Fahrenheit.
70, 75, 68, 75 degrees Fahrenheit, I guess.
Yeah.
So when we go down to Florida here in a couple weeks, they're gonna make fun of me. They always make fun of me when I go down to Florida because I'm the Canadian that sweats, right? They're like, you can't handle the heat. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, come up, come up to Canada with minus 30 degrees Celsius. Then we'll talk.
Right. Right. Well, hopefully I can get things worked out on my end. I could get some time to come up to Orlando. We could meet in person. You know, we don't know, but we can
How
hope.
how far how far are you away from Orlando?
I'm about 3 hours away. 3 hours drive.
That's not too bad.
No, it's
Like
not
I'm
too bad
sorry,
at all.
you must be north of. Are you north
I'm
of
south. I'm
Orlando or
south.
south?
I'm down in Fort Lauderdale.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was actually in Tampa Bay back in June for Bill Wallace uh, Black Book Green. That was kind of interesting.
Mm. Yeah. So
But yeah,
they're
if
further
you get the
west.
opportunity, to come down and watch some of the martial arts stuff that's going on that weekend, I think it'll probably inspire you to get back into it sooner than later.
Yeah, that's probably what I'm kind of afraid of. I just started working out again myself, so started with some home workouts. Getting back into the groove of things. I play soccer every week, so that kind of helps. But hey, it's a work in progress.
Always.
Jonathan, thank you once again for taking the time out to share with us about your book and you yourself, Master Jonathan Field, and getting into martial arts. And thank Cheryl for me. I was hoping that she would have actually called in and given us a little word here or there, but I understand as a mother of three and a working mother and all.
Oh, yeah, actually, she was in class earlier tonight, so I worked her pretty hard, so she probably went to bed early after getting a good workout. Again, being a mother of three and then just rocking her work and
Yeah.
She's a very hardworking lady and very dedicated to her family and martial arts and everything like that. But thank you for having me on as well.
My pleasure. My pleasure. You take care of yourself. We will stay in communication.
Yes, sir. I would definitely love to pop back on and have more chat with you in the future for sure.
All right. Awesome. We'll make it happen. Take care of yourself, Jonathan. Until.
Yeah, you too.
All right. Blessings. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Jonathan Field. Master Jonathan Field. As we close out our musical therapy, this is on a West Rock. It's called Born as a Winner.
Well, I was born as a brilliant child.
Thank you to McNeil Trucking for sponsoring this segment of the broadcast.
I can't count all the tears that fall, all the struggles though I worked so hard. I never knew where the day would come when I rise from the gutter and the slum. Now I'm seeing the rising sun. Now the glitters and the riches can't done, 'cause I'm a winner. I was born as a star. I don't need no one. Tell me who I am. Many try to tear me down. They wanna see me on the ground, but each time they set their trap, they just push me further to the top. 'Cause I'm a winner. I was born as a star. I don't need no one to tell me who I am. I'm a winner. I was born as a star. I don't need no one to tell me who I am. Now let me tell you about my life, long before my kids and wife. How I grew from rags to riches didn't come by sudden flight. I had to burn the midnight lamp when my friends and my foes them around. Education, my mom used to say, so sad she had passed away. I had to push myself through school, one shirt, one pants and shoes. Now the rest is history. I'm all that a man can be, 'cause I'm a winner. I was born as a star. I don't need no one to tell me who I am. Yes, I'm a winner. I was born as a star. I don't need no one to tell me who I am.
Like a queen, pas fais-moi comme ça, chérie. If you're gonna love me how you love me, boy, just make sure you love me.
For all my queens out there,
Because I am
the sound of La Vie.
a queen. C'est pour comprendre ça, chérie.
It's called Queen.
You're gonna love me how you love me, boy, just make sure you love me right. I'm not the kind of girl you can win in one night. Fool me with your lies, oh no. I'm not that type of girl. I'm not the one you call 3 a.m. in the morning just because you're lonely, oh no. Baby, you know I ain't in no rush. Let's take it slow. If you can't wait, then boy, you got to go. Dealing with me, there's one thing you need to know. You can't wait, then boy you got to go. Dealing with me, there's one thing you need to know. You gotta treat me like a queen, got your wine and your dime, take me for a good time. Introduce me to your mama. Call me when you wanna plan forever. It's not just a physical thing. Mentally, boy, you have to stimulate. You better know that I'm a lady. Oh, baby, boy, you know I ain't in no rush. Let's take it slow. If you can't wait, then boy, you got to dealing with me. There's one thing you need to know. One thing you need to know. One thing you ain't in no rush. Let's take it slow. If you can't wait, then boy, you got to go dealing with me. There's one thing you need to know. You gotta treat me like a queen, a queen. Pas fais-moi comme ça, chérie. If you gonna love me how you love me, boy, just make sure you love me right. C'est pour comprendre, because I am a queen, a queen. C'est pour comprendre ça, chérie. If you gonna love me how you love me, boy, just make sure you love me right.
Time we find our voice and sing again.
This is on Christina Alicia.
Time we remember our power.
Track called Gold.
Time we bring up the courage of our ancestors. Name them, call them, they're with us. Time we find our voice and sing again.
It's about time.
We know nature's gifts and resources. Still we fall slave by taking favors. By time we look round our foreign friends, them take our best work, not even showing what we need. Time we find our voice and sing again.
It's about time.
Come people, make us remember our power within. Who here see the times manifested? Who here see the times repeated? Our time is now, now 'cause we know our worth more than gold. We're worth more than gold. Our time is here, now 'cause we know and see that there's more to what's been told. We're worth more than gold. Can't steal from a heart where gold is abundant. Can't take peace from the crown where righteousness stand on. Still wars keep us divided. False narratives keep lying. Politics and religion keep us blind. My people perish for lack of knowledge, and we swallow whatever the media tells us. Now let us remember where we come from. Let us remember what made us start. Time we find our voice and sing again. Time we remember our power comes from within. Who here see the times manifested? Who here see the times repeated? Our time is now, now 'cause we know our worth more than gold. We're worth more than gold. Our time is here, now 'cause we know and see that there's more to what's been told. We're worth more than gold.
Yeah. No. Hey.
Bouncing through this musical therapy segment.
Tough like a diamond, strong like titanium.
Son of Novelty.
Tough like a diamond, knock me down, but I won't.
Talk about a women's anthem.
Tough
This right here.
diamond, strong
Tough like a diamond.
titanium. Knock me down, I get back on my feet. I'm strong like.
From the compilation, Strictly Women.
How I fight, this is how I fight. Flat footed on the ground, flat footed on the.
It's called Queens in the Arena.
Keep me
Chemistry them.
can't keep me down. back broad, stand tall, flat
Courtesy of China Nicole.
down, tough like a diamond. You know I'm strong like titanium, tough like a diamond. Knock me down, but I won't stay down. Tough like a diamond, strong like titanium. Knock me down, I get back on my feet. I'm strong like titanium. Is that all you got? Take your best shot. Take your best shot. Yo, is that all you got? No surrender, no flag in my sky. You never see me cry. No, never see me cry. Tough like a diamond. You know I'm strong like titanium. Tough like a diamond. Knock me down, but I won't stay down. Tough like a diamond. Strong like titanium. Knock me down, I get back on my feet. I'm strong like titanium.
She had the luxury of having her husband help her out with this track. That's her husband right there on trumpet, Mr. Howard Perry.
I don't think you heard me, you might as well give up. Every time you shoot me down, I get back up. I won't surrender, I'm not a quitter. No white flag in my sky. You never see me cry, no, never see me cry. My only cry is my battle cry. Like, oh, 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 yeah, can't keep me down, no, can't keep me down, no, oh, oh, yeah, can't keep me down, no, can't keep me down. Tough like a diamond, strong like titanium. Knock me down, but I won't stay down. Tough like a diamond, strong like titanium.
You never really cared what I was going through. Many days and many nights, my life was really cruel.
This is the sound of Mitch Bella.
To the test of time,
It's called Beauty for Ashes.
that God will shine His light upon my soul and bless me to stay at the thanks and praise. So why you wanna ruin me now? Why you still wanna ruin me now? No, take what you wanna take, but you can't take my God from me. Do what you wanna do, but you can't take my God from me. He's giving me beauty for ashes, giving me beauty for ashes. He's giving me beauty for ashes, giving me beauty for ashes. See, when you're down in life, nobody seems to care about your pocket. But once I see you moving up the ladder, everybody seems to think you got it. And it's sad, the things we gotta go through. It's sad, the pain we gotta feel. It's sad to know we worked hard, and that line is their motto, and killing is another. But take what you wanna take, but you can't take my God from me. Do what you wanna do, but you can't take my God from me. No, no. He's giving me beauty for ashes, giving me beauty for ashes, giving me beauty for ashes, giving me beauty for ashes. I wake up in the morning, see the sun, and I'm so thankful. I happy just to see another day, and I'm so grateful. Never take life for granted.
This is the evergreen Nadine Sutherland.
Life to the fullest, yeah, just spread love.
Track called It Takes One.
One heart of love, one unity, one destiny. A should love. One heart of love, one
the super talented Miss Pam Hall.
You have a lot of family that you share.
It's called What You Gonna Do.
Or you just take me for granted. Boy, I can no longer deal with it. Oh, stop your begging, boy. Oh, just stop your crying too. Tired of the same old story. You better figure out what you're gonna do. Figure out what you gonna do. Get them on your own right. Suddenly you're showing up. You and your million excuses. This time I got news for you. Your place has been taken. Watch them play your player's game. Pity you didn't know things had changed. Gave you a whole lot of love. Now you played yourself out of score. Oh, stop your begging, boy. Oh, just stop your crying too. Tired of the same old story. You better figure out what you gonna do. Figure out what you gonna do. Get them on your own right.
This is on Avani. It's called Back to Destiny.
Come back to
want to thank McNeil Trucking for sponsoring this segment called the Musical Therapy segment. As we close out Community and Finance right here on the night shift with DJ Kevin Steele. Thank you to my affiliates all over the globe. Much love to you. One Harmony Radio, NIE Radio, Island Worldwide, Reggae Pulse Radio, the Foundation Radio Network, ClintonLindsay.com, PEMG TV, WGLRO, Oliwap Radio, Dusic Media Group, Zeno FM. Much love to you all. Truly appreciate love each and every one of you. The sound of Karima. A track called Don't Kill My Vibes in the background. As a reminder, do check out the book. It's called Empowered. Yeah, man, you want to get your copy today. Empowered, essential concepts and strategies every woman should know about self-defense. Thank you to my guest tonight, Master Jonathan Field, author of this book. And thank him for giving me the opportunity to narrate his book. It's available today on Audible and anywhere you get your. In fact, just go to Amazon and put in Empowered and Jonathan Field, and you'll find this book available to you as an audiobook. So you can listen to your audiobook narrated by yours truly. Go ahead and tell everyone about it, yeah? As we part company, keep the energy positive. Share the vibe with someone, yeah? Positive vibe. Do remember to look out for members of your community. Remember, your community is not just a development that you live in, but it spreads far and wide. So those that you pass on the bus, on the plane, the boat, or the train, whether you walk, ride, or drive, these are members of your community. Do something good for one of them today, because you never know who's going to do something good for you tomorrow. My name is Kevin Steele, so I like to do it to you, for you, and with you every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday right here, kevinsteele.com. As we part, keep in prayers those who were affected by Hurricane Ian. As the recovery process continues, and still search and rescue missions going on out there on the west coast of South Florida. So keep them all in your prayers. Good morning, good afternoon, good day to you wherever you are in the world. From right here in South Florida, I bid you all a good night. Take care until we do it again. Be good, and if you can't be good at it. Greetings and salutations, one and all. You're invited to tune in to the night shift with DJ Kevin Steele. It airs on Mondays with Community and Finance, Tuesdays with Healthy Love, and Wednesdays with Real Talk from 10 p.m. to midnight Eastern Time. Come spend some time interacting in the stew pot where we keep things bubbling and wind down in musical therapy. The night shift with DJ Kevin Steele is on kevinsteele.com, where you're encouraged to have acceptance through enlightenment.